So, dear friends, myself Sheikh Mohammad Said, working as assistant professor in the Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry in Shriyesh Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. Today we will see the practical of IMA, that is instrumental method of analysis. Okay, final year 7th sem. Okay, now the first practical of IMA we will see that selection of filter, that is lambda max for KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7 by colorimetric method. Okay, this is a first experiment, selection of filter lambda max for KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7 by the colorimetric method. Okay, and second experiment we will going to perform, that is to verify Beer's law for colorimetric method and to find out the unknown concentration of given sample, that is KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7. In second experiment we are going to verify the Beer's law, whether as we know that the only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law. Here in second experiment we are going to verify whether this solution of 0.01 normal solution, whether this solution obey the Beer's law and not. First. Secondly, we are going to find the concentration of unknown by using this experiment or by using the same colorimetric method. Now, as we know that we have studied in theory, that is UV visible spectroscopy. UV visible spectroscopy usually involves the electromagnetic radiation in the range of 400 to 800. Okay. Now this range is divided into two, that is UV range from 200 to 400 nanometer, that is known as UV radiation, and second 400 to 800, that is visible radiation. Visible radiation, it includes from different colored light from red to violet. Different colored light from red to violet. Okay. We know that there are two methods and two instruments that available through which we are going to perform these experiments, and we can utilize the basic principle of UV spectroscopy, that the UV spectrophotometer, we can analyze the compound in a range of 200 to 800 in UV spectrophotometer. Okay, whether the compound is colored or colorless, both the compounds are identified and analyzed in UV spectrophotometer. But by using colorimetry, we can only analyze the colored solution. By using colorimetry, we can only analyze the colored solution in the range of red to violet. Okay, and the colorless solution cannot be identified and cannot be estimated by using colorimetry. Okay. Now, the basic principle of UV visible spectroscopy involves Beer's-Lambert's law. Okay. As we have discussed earlier that Beer's law is associated with the concentration of analyte present in the solution, and second one is the Lambert's law. It is associated with the path length of that covered or sample cell. Path length of covered and sample cell is known as Lambert's law. It is denoted as X, while the concentration is denoted as C. Okay. Now we will see here, if a beam of monochromatic light is passed through a homogeneous solution of absorbing medium, then the intensity of transmitted light is directly proportional to the intensity of incidence light, and the concentration of analyte present in the solution. Okay, once again I am repeating, when a beam of monochromatic light passes through a homogeneous solution of absorbing medium, okay, then the intensity of transmitted light is directly proportional to the intensity of incidence light, that is I0, intensity of incidence light, and secondly the concentration of analyte present in the solution. Okay, we are going to analyze here the Beer's law, and Beer's law is associated with the concentration. means transmitted light. Intensity of transmitted light depending upon the intensity of incidence light and concentration. Okay, the path length is universally constant, that is 1 centimeter. Path length is universally constant 1 centimeter. Okay, now the intensity of incidence light can be calculated by using this formula. Intensity of transmitted light, okay, equal to intensity of incidence light is equal to E into e raised to, that is epsilon Cx. Epsilon is a molar absorptivity constant. Epsilon is a molar absorptivity constant. It is calculated from the graph and slope of the graph. Okay, it is a constant. Secondly, the concentration. Okay, the concentration of analyte present in the solution, it is a variable. And third one, that is x. X is nothing but the path length. Okay, and the path length is universally constant, that is 1 centimeter. Hence, the intensity of transmitted light is directly proportional to the intensity of incidence light and the concentration. Okay, epsilon is a molar absorptivity. It is calculated based upon the slope. Okay, and x is constant, that is 1 centimeter. Hence, intensity of transmitted light directly proportional to the intensity of incidence light and the concentration of analyte present in the solution. Okay, now we can also calculate the Persson transmittance by using colorimetry. Okay, the Persson transmittance is equal to intensity of transmitted light depending upon the intensity of incidence light into 100. This is known as Persson transmittance. Okay, by using colorimeter we can identify the absorbance. Okay, we are going to identify the absorbance and Persson transmittance. Okay, this is the absorbance. These two are the variables. Okay, this is a basic formula of UV visible spectroscopy. Okay, this is a basic formula. Based upon this formula, we are by using colorimetry we can identify the two variables, that is Persson transmittance is equal to intensity of transmitted light divided by intensity of incidence light into 100. Second variable is absorbance. We can also identify the absorbance. Okay, now absorbance or optical density. Absorbance is also known as optical density. Optical density equal to log of inverse of transmittance. It is nothing but is equal to minus log of transmittance. These are the basic formulas. This is the basic formula of UV visible spectroscopy. Based upon this, by using colorimetry, we can identify these two parameters. Now, this is a actual process. Now, this is a incidence light. This is a transmitted light. Okay. As I told you, this is clearly Beer's law is a function of concentration and intensity of incidence light. Now, what happens? This actually measures the Persson transmittance. By subtracting Persson transmittance, we are getting the absorbance. For example, if suppose that the 100 photons of specific intensity of light, specific intensity of light, if pass through a solution, if 20 is absorbed, then 80 is transmitted. Okay. Now it is directly depending upon the intensity of incidence light, nothing but a lambda max. Okay. Now which intensity or at which wavelength this light passes through this. Okay. And if suppose that the 100 unit or 100 photons is passed through the solution, 20 absorbed, 80 transmitted. If the concentration increases, suppose that the concentration, if this original concentration has 2 microgram per ml, okay, then 20 absorbed, 80 transmitted. If it is 4 microgram per ml, then it will 40 absorbed, 60 transmitted. Okay, if it is 6 microgram per ml, then 60 absorbed, 80, 60 absorbed, 40 transmitted. Okay, if it is 8 microgram per ml, then 80 absorbed and 20 transmitted. Okay, like this. And if it is 10 microgram per ml, 100% will absorb and 0% gets transmitted. Okay. Now listen the significance. Okay, as we know that the only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law. Okay, what does it indicate that? Means the dilute solution obey the Beer's law means the epsilon or molar extension coefficient or R square value must be 1. The line must be linear. The line must be linear. This line must be linear passing through origin having R square value equal to 1 or 0.999. Okay, or molar extension coefficient which is calculated based upon the slope of the graph. Molar extension coefficient, this molar extension coefficient calculated based upon the graph, and if the ideal solution and if it is dilute solution, then molar absorptivity is equal to 1 or molar absorptivity is also known as R square value. R square value is nothing but the deviation from linearity. Okay, if it is 1, then it is ideal graph, perfectly linear ideal graph. Okay, hence this Beer's law is directly related to the concentration. As the concentration increases, absorbance increases. Concentration increases, absorbance increases. For example, I will give you the example. Okay, if suppose that there are 5 types of concentration, that is 2 microgram per ml concentration, 4 microgram per ml concentration, 6 microgram per ml concentration, 8 microgram and 10 microgram. First listen, the graph plotted for this UV visible spectrophotometer or by colorimeter is nothing but concentration versus absorbance. Concentration versus absorbance or optical density. The graph we are getting or plotted for UV visible spectrophotometer or by colorimeter is a concentration versus absorbance. Okay, by considering Beer's law. Okay, this is a concentration. There are 5 concentration, 2 microgram per ml, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. These are the 5 concentration. Okay, and these are the absorbance. Okay, if suppose that it is 2 microgram per ml concentration, it is 2 microgram per ml concentration, then it has absorbance of 0.3, has an absorbance of 0.3. Okay, if it has 4, then it has 6. If it is 6, it has 9. Then it is 12. Then it is 15. It is a linear line passing through origin. Linear line passing through origin means if the 2 concentration has the absorbance of 6, obviously for ideal solution for 4 microgram it must be 6, for 6 microgram it must be 9, for 8 microgram it must be 1.2, and for 10 microgram it must be 1.5. If it is linear, then molar extension coefficient which is calculated from the slope of the graph is equal to 1, or it is also called as R square value. R square is nothing but deviation from linearity. Okay, if it is equal to 1 means it is ideal. Okay, if the concentration is too high, if concentration is too high like 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 microgram per ml, then what happens? Initially it gives the linear curve for lowest concentration, but what happens at certain concentration it does not show the absorbance. It does not show the absorbance. It does not show the absorbance. This is not a linear curve. This is known as deviation from linearity. This is known as deviation from linearity. Okay. We are nothing but calculating intensity of transmitted light. If the concentration is too high, then not transmitted. They are whole or totally absorbed by the absorbing solution or by the solution. Hence, at a certain level or at a certain concentration, the absorbance will not going to increase. It gets saturated. It gets saturated. Okay. This is known as deviation from linearity. Hence, only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law. Only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law because the molar extension coefficient is equal to 1, R square value is equal to 1. Okay, this is ideal situation, and by using this situation you can identify the concentration of unknown solution also. Okay, suppose that the absorbance of unknown solution was found to be 10, means 10 is present over here. This is absorbance of unknown. Okay, the absorbance of unknown was found to be 10, then extrapolate it to this is a concentration, that is 4.5 microgram per ml is a concentration of unknown solution. Is a concentration of unknown solution. Okay, means the only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law. If the concentration increases, it shows the deviation from linearity. Means molar extension coefficient is not equal to 1. Molar extension coefficient is not equal to 1. It is less than 1. And R square value is also not equal to 1. It is like 0.5, 0.4 like this. For ideal situation, okay, the molar extension coefficient must be equal to 1, which is calculated from slope of the graph. Okay, means it indicates that if the molar extension coefficient and R square value is less than 1, it indicates deviation from linearity or deviation from the Beer's law. And we are going to identify here the selection of filter, means lambda max, means intensity light. Lambda max is an intensity of incidence light. We are going to identify the intensity of incidence light, means lambda max. And second one is a concentration of unknown solution. Concentration of unknown solution. Okay, it is a function of transmittance. It is a function of transmittance. Okay, this is a graph. As I told you, the graph is plotted concentration versus absorbance. Okay, the only dilute solution can obey the Beer's law, like 2, 4, 6, 10. As the absorbance will give the linear line. Okay, if concentration increases too high, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, then it will show the deviation from linearity. All the incidence light get absorbed by the absorbing medium and nothing is transmitted. Hence, it is nothing but deviation. Okay, initially 10, 20, 30 it shows a certain absorbance, but after 40 or at the higher concentration, all the light gets absorbed, cannot be transmitted. To measure the concentration of this solution, the light must be transmitted. If the concentration is too high, then dilute it with the proper respective dilution factors. For example, if you have the concentration of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, then dilute it 10 times so that it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it will become within the linearity range, and by using that we can identify the concentration of unknown compound. Okay, this is a experiment. Okay, now we will see the certain application. Okay, before application we will once again moving towards our aim, that is selection of filter, that is lambda max. We are going to identify lambda max. Okay, at which lambda max or at which wavelength it shows the maximum absorbance is known as lambda max. As I discussed you in theory, this absorbance of UV visible spectroscopy is absorption spectroscopy. Okay, and every chemical structure has a characteristic absorption pattern of UV visible radiation. Okay, it is an intrinsic property. It is an intrinsic property based upon the structure. And we have also discussed earlier that by using UV spectrophotometer we are going to identify the conjugated carbon atom. Application is identification of conjugated carbon atom or dynes or conjugated carbon atom or conjugation. Identification of dynes, conjugated carbon. Second one, alpha beta carbonyl compound. Identification of alpha beta or alpha gamma or beta gamma carbonyl carbon. Okay, these are the structural elucidation application. These are the application of structural elucidation. Third one is a quantitative analysis, and this is also known as qualitative analysis. Okay, now this is also utilized in qualitative analysis as well as quantitative analysis. These are the structural elucidation application. Now it is also utilized for analysis of different analyte by qualitative and quantitative analysis. Analysis of analyte by or quantitative or qualitative analysis. Quantitative and qualitative these are the application. Means identification of conjugation, dynes, aromaticity, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl carbon. These are structural elucidation application. Analysis of analyte. Okay. Qualitative and quantitative estimation of analyte. Okay. For example, I will draw the structure of acetyl salicylic acid, that is aspirin. Okay, this is structure of salicylic acid. The salicylic acid, for example, I will give you the example. Salicylic acid has a lambda max, for example, 394. 394 is a lambda max for salicylic acid. Means it is utilized to qualitative analysis. Okay, means identification of salicylic acid. Means whether the given sample contains salicylic acid or not, for identification of salicylic acid. Okay, for identification and for identification of salicylic acid, whether the given sample or solution contains salicylic acid or not. Means it shows the absorbance at characteristic 394 nanogram. It shows the absorbance at 394 lambda max. 394 nanogram lambda max. Okay, it shows the energy. Quantitative analysis means you know that for in pharmaceutical it is very important for evaluation of tablet dissolution process. Okay, or other process like identification of gel or gel permeation capacity, solution, or even though the tablets, capsules, okay, mini tablets or any other solid dosage form, the dissolution can be identified. Means if suppose that there is a sustained release formulation tablet is there, okay, by using dissolution USP method you can identify the how much amount of drug release by after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, after half an hour, after 2 hours, after 2.5 hours, how much drug is released based upon this same principle. Now take out the sample from solution and get analyzed based upon the absorbance, you will get the concentration. Okay, means if suppose that your tablet, the paracetamol tablet, sustained release paracetamol tablet containing 500 microgram per ml, 500 mg tablet, if it is dissolved or it is exposed to a dissolution by using UV dissolution apparatus, then you have to monitor it as per the standard official books, means how much time is required for a sustained release formulation for complete dissolution. You can monitor by using dissolution apparatus. Now put it down in the dissolution apparatus. Now take timely the sample from the dissolution apparatus after half hour, after 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hour, 2.5 hour sample, and identify the concentration of unknown solution. Okay. Now this is the application, structural elucidation, analysis of analyte, qualitative and quantitative analysis, means identification of unknown concentration for various methods. Okay. It is a quantitative analysis. Qualitative analysis means whether the given solution contains paracetamol, aspirin or other drug, because it is a characteristic property. It is also intrinsic property or structural property because it has a characteristic absorption pattern. Every chemical and every structure has its own characteristic absorption pattern. By using this characteristic or intrinsic property, you can identify, you can utilize for qualitative analysis for identification of compound in the given sample. And second one is quantitative analysis. How much drug is released, how much amount of analyte present in given solution, how much amount of drug or different intermediate present in the different formulations or in the different solid dosage form, semi-solid dosage form, or in solution or in mixture, like this. Now we are going to identify the lambda max, means selection of filter for KMnO4 and K2CR2. Okay, these are the three solutions prepared. These are the three solutions of KMnO4, that is 1 normal, 0.01 normal and 0.001 normal K2CR2O7. Okay, by using 0.01 normal, we are going to identify the lambda max or selection of filter for this K2CR2O7, means at which wavelength it will show the maximum absorbance, at which wavelength it shows the maximum absorbance, or we are going to identify the intensity of incidence light. Okay, at which intensity of light or radiation it shows the maximum absorbance. Similarly, these are the three solutions, that is 0.1 normal KMnO4 solution, this is a 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution, and this is 0.005 normal KMnO4 solution. Okay, now these solutions are utilized for identification of lambda max. Now these successive dilutions has been prepared for KMnO4 and K2CR2O7 for identification of or verification whether these dilute solution obey the Beer's law or not. Obey the Beer's law or not by using colorimetric method. By using colorimetric method. Now for selection of filter and lambda max, this is a table. Okay, we can also already discuss that. We have already discussed that by using the basic equation we can identify the two variables, that is absorbance as well as transmittance. Okay, here is these are the filters. Sorry, these are the wavelength or filters that are available in the colorimetry, that is 400, then 420, 470, like this. These are the different wavelength. These wavelength is then passed through a solution of sample. Okay, now we are measuring the absorbance as well as percent transmittance. Okay, now second one is the this table is for verification of Beer's law for KMnO4 and K2CR2O7. For the successive, we have prepared the 0.01 normal K2CR2O7 and 0.01 normal KMnO4. By using this solution, we have prepared the certain dilutions. For example, we have prepared the dilution like 9 ml of KMnO4 and 1 ml of water, then 8 ml of KMnO4 and 2 ml of water. Similarly, 1 ml of KMnO4 and 9 ml of water. These are successive dilutions. These are the successive dilutions that has been prepared to verify the Beer's law. Verify the Beer's law. whether these dilute solutions, whether these successive dilute solution can obey the Beer's law or not. We are going to verify whether this dilute solution obey the Beer's law and not. Now this is a digital colorimeter. Okay, these are the covers for this digital colorimeter. Now by using this colorimeter we can identify the two variables, that is, see here, that is absorbance and Person transmittance. We can identify the absorbance as well as Person transmittance. By using this button we can change. Now this is Person transmittance, now this is a absorbance. Okay, these are the covers and these are the filters. These are the filters, that is the 400, 420, 470, 500, 530, 620, 660. Now see here, there are different types of colored light. Now there are different types of colored light. Different types of colored light, like this is the orange light for different filters. Okay, this is a purple light. Okay, different colored light is passes through the sample solution like this. Okay, now this is green light, different types of filters, green light. Now this is orange light, this is red light, like this. Okay, these are the different types of filters. Okay, by using this we are going to identify the absorbance as well as Person transmittance. Now first we are going to identify the lambda max, selection of filters. Now for that, first we have to use distilled water. First we are going to identify the absorbance by using absorbance of KMnO4. Okay, by using different filters. Okay, for that first we have to do the auto zero by using distilled water. Okay, now put this cuvette containing distilled water, put this cuvette into the sample cell. Okay, now adjust this absorbance to 0 because this solution of KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7 is prepared in water. To avoid the interference of water, it must be auto zero, means the absorbance of solvent must be auto zero and a baseline 0 to avoid the interference in the absorbance of KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7. Now first adjust the absorbance of solvent or distilled water to 0 to avoid the interference in the absorbance of actual KMnO4. Now select the filter as 200 first, then adjust the same filter to 0. Now this is absorbance of water solvent at 400. Okay, now put down the solution of KMnO4. This is a 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution. This is 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution. This is 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution. Now put it in the cuvette. Now see the absorbance of 0.01 normal KMnO4 at 400. Now write it down, note it down reading, note down reading or absorbance of KMnO4 at 400. How much it is? 0.18. 0.18. Now take it out, change the next filter, that is 420. Okay, now again put it down. After changing the filter, put it down the solvent water and again adjust to 0 so that to avoid the interference of water at the 420 nanometer or at the next filter. Now take it out, put down the same solution, that is 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution. Okay, now it is 0.7 the absorbance for 420 nanometer, absorbance for 420 nanometer is 0.70. Now take it out. Now change filter, that is 470, and then put distilled water, then adjust to it 0. Now take it out, distilled water. Now put same solution of KMnO4, 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution, and it is 0.67 is absorbance for 470 nanometer. Now take it down, change filter to 500, and then put distilled water, and then adjust to 0. Okay, now again put down the same solution, that is 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution. Observe the absorbance, that is 0.07. Now same. Now change filter to 530 nanometer, and then put water, adjust to 0. Then note down the absorbance is 0.03 for 530 nanometer. Now next, similarly change filter to 620. Now put down distilled water, again adjust to 0. Now take out water and put down the same solution, that is 0.01 normal KMnO4. Note down the absorbance, that is 0. Now next, change the filter, that is 660. Then put distilled water and adjust to 0. Then again add 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution, that is fine. Note down the reading, 0.05 is the absorbance. Now again take it out, put down change filter, that's 700, and put down distilled water and make the absorbance 0 to avoid the interference in the actual absorbance of KMnO4. That is 0.11 is the absorbance. Okay, now see here, see the reading. We have first experiment is a selection of filter and lambda max, selection of lambda max. Okay, we have verified or passed this solution to this intensified light. Now we have seen that the maximum absorbance was observed at 420 nanometer. The maximum absorbance was observed at 420 nanometer, that is 0.7. Absorbance is 0.7. Okay, this is a lambda max. This is a lambda max for KMnO4. Okay, this is the lambda max, that is 420 is the lambda max for KMnO4 because it shows the maximum absorbance 0.70, okay, as compared to other. Now similarly we can identify the percent transmittance also. Okay, for example, see here, now by changing this mode we can identify the percent transmittance. Okay, now first put down the solvent, that is distilled water, and make sure that the percent transmittance must be 100%. Percent transmittance must be 100%, because the light must be freely 100% transmitted through the solvent to avoid the interference in the absorbance of actual medium. Now put down the same solution, that is 0.01 KMnO4 solution. First change the filter to 400 nanometer. Select the filter 400 nanometer, adjust the percent transmittance to 100, adjust the percent transmittance to 100 by putting distilled water, adjust the percent transmittance to 100%. Now take down and then put down the solution or analyte 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution and find out the percent transmittance. It is a 67. Percent transmittance is a 67. We will write down here, that is percent transmittance. At 400 nanometer it is a 67% transmittance. Okay. Now change filter to 420 nanometer, then put down distilled water and make it as 100%. Now take down water and then put KMnO4 solution, note down the percent transmittance, that is 21. Percent transmittance is 21 for 420 nanometer. Okay, now take it down, change filter to 470 nanometer. Okay, put down distilled water and make it 100%. Now put down next 23 is a percent transmittance at 470 nanometer. Now next change filter to 500, put down distilled water, make it 100% transmittance. Now put down KMnO4 solution. This is 83%. Now take it out, change the filter to 530 nanometer and then add distilled water, make it 100%. Now then add KMnO4 solution and observe the percent transmittance 91%. Then again change filter to 620 nanometer and then add distilled water, make it 100%. Now put down this, consider this as 100%. Actually this filter, I think it is damaged, that is 620 number filter is damaged. Okay, no, actually it is okay, 100%. Next filter is 660 nanometer. Put down water, make it 100%. Now put down KMnO4 solution. Note down the percent transmittance, 86%. Now change filter to 700 nanometer. Add water, make it 100%. Now this is 78% transmittance. Okay, now see here the reading. As I told you, there are two variables can be identified by using colorimetry: absorbance as well as percent transmittance. By using both we can verify the lambda max. Now see here, this is a percent transmittance. Okay, and at 420 it shows the minimum percent transmittance, means maximum absorbance. Okay, at 420 nanometer it shows the percent transmittance of only 21%, means 79% of light will absorb. Okay, hence this is a lambda max, that is 420 is a lambda max. Confirm based on the absorbance as well as percent transmittance. Okay, now we will see. Now we are going to analyze the lambda max. We select the filter for K2CR207. Okay, now this is this cuvette contain K2CR207, 0.01 normal K2CR207, and this is a distilled water. Okay, now first we are going to analyze the absorbance by using KMnO4. Okay, now select the filter 400, put down water, adjust to 0 so that to avoid the interference in the absorbance of KMnO4, because this KMnO4 is prepared in the water or distilled water. Okay, we want to analyze the absorbance of KMnO4, hence the absorbance water must be 0 to avoid the interference. Now put down KMnO4 solution and note down the reading of absorbance. There is 0.08 for 400 nanometer. 0.08 is absorbance. Now change filter to 420 distilled water. Put down distilled water, make it 0. Make it 0. Now put down KMnO4 solution. Okay, it is 0. Absorbance is 0. Now change filter to 470 nanometer and then put down distilled water, adjust to 0. Then add K2CR207. Now it is 0.01. 0.01. Now change filter to 500 nanometer. Then put down distilled water, adjust absorbance to 0. Now put down K2CR207, 0.01 normal K2CR207. Note down reading 0. Now next one. Next filter is 530 nanometer. adds to 0. Then put down Kmin4 0.01, normal Kmin4, the absorbance is 0. Change filter to 620, then adds to 0. Now it is 0. Now change filter to 660, then adds absorbance to 0. Then note down reading 0.06. Now next is 700, adds to 0. Now it is 1.6. 1.6. Okay, note down the reading. Among these lambda max, among these wavelength or these filters, the 700 nanometer shows the maximum absorbance. 700 nanometer shows maximum absorbance, hence it is a lambda max. 700 nanometer is the lambda max. Now similarly we will see the percent transmittance for that. Now adjust it, percent transmittance, select filter for 400, put down distilled water, make it 100% transmittance. Now note down the percent transmittance, that is 81%. This is percent transmittance for 400 nanometer is 81% transmittance. Change filter, add water, make it 100%. %, we are getting exact reading because it is a 0% absorbance at 420, hence we are getting 99% or 100% transmittance. Now change filter to 470, put water, adjust to 0. Yes, take it down as 100%, means 0 absorbance. Now change filter to 500 nanometer and then adjust it to 0. Now note down reading 100%, consider it as 100% transmittance. Now change filter to 530 nanometer, add water, adjust to 100%. Then note down the reading 100% transmittance. We are getting ideal result because it is 0% absorbance means 100% transmittance. Change filter to 620 nanometer, adjust 100%. Transmittance. It also shows 0% zero absorbance at 620 nanometer. Now the 660 nanometer, put water, adjust to 100%. Then observe the reading of percent transmittance, 85%. We are getting exact result as that of absorbance. Now change to 700 nanometer, change filter 700 nanometer, adjust it 100%. Now it is 69%, transmittance is 69. Now see here the reading. Okay, the 69% is a lowest percent transmittance, means it shows a maximum absorbance. Hence this is a lambda max. This is a lambda max. Okay. Now we are going to identify the concentration of unknown compound by plotting the linear plot by using a known concentration. Okay, these are the series of dilution of known concentration that has been prepared, and first we are going to analyze the absorbance of these concentration. We are going to analyze the absorbance of this concentration. Now based upon the plot prepared for this known concentration, we are going to identify the concentration of unknown solutions like this. Now this solution has highest concentration of KMnO4, this solution is lowest concentration of KMnO4. This is a series of dilution that has been prepared, that 9 ml of KMnO4, 1 ml of water. Similarly, these are the series of dilutions. 8 ml of KMnO4, 2 ml of water, 7 ml of KMnO4, 3 ml of water, 6 ml of KMnO4 and 4 ml of water, 1 ml of KMnO4 and 9 ml of water. This is highest concentration to lowest concentration series. Okay, by using these series, the absorbance of this series, we are going to first plot the graph or linear graph for this solution, and then we are going to identify the concentration of unknown sample. Now similarly, previously we have selected the lambda max. Previously we have selected the lambda max for KMnO4. The lambda max for KMnO4 is 420 nanometer. We have verified based upon both that absorbance as well as percent transmittance. 420 is a lambda max. Now select the lambda max 420 at which it shows the maximum absorbance. It shows the maximum absorbance. Now first put down distilled water. We are going to analyze the absorbance. Okay, now first put down distilled water and adjust absorbance to 0. Now take the series of solution which contain highest concentration as per the table. Now rinse it. Now note down the absorbance. That 0.65 Note down the absorbance point 0.65 for this first dilution. Now next one is 8 ml of KMnO4 and 2 ml of water. Next dilution. Now rinse it first with water. Now add the next dilution. Now note down that is 59, 0.58 or 59. Now next one. Now rinse it with water and take another dilutions. Now 0.52, 0.52, 52. Next one. Next dilution, first rinse it with water. Next dilution. That is 0.45. Now take next dilution. Now note down reading 0.38, 0.38. Then 0.31, next dilution 0.31. Point 2.3 is observation. Okay, we have selected filter once, hence there is no need to change the distilled water as a 0 every time because we have selected filter. The one filter is selected. 13.3 is the absorbance. Okay, now the last dilution. Okay, last dilution which contain 1 ml of KMnO4 and 9 ml of water. We are getting the series of dilution. Okay, that is 0.05 is the next absorbance. 0.05, these are the absorbance. Okay, now we are taking the absorbance of unknown concentration of KMnO4 solution. Okay, at 420 nanometer. Okay, this is the absorbance of unknown concentration of KMnO4 solution, serial number 10. Okay, unknown. Okay, the absorbance is 35. Okay, now we will take the series of absorbance of K2Cr2O7. Okay, now take this dilution first. Okay, now select the lambda max, select the filter, because we have previously selected the filter for K2Cr2O7. Now this 700 nanometer is a lambda max or filter for K2Cr2O7 based upon both absorbance and percent transmittance. Now select the 700 nanometer as a lambda max. Now put down water and adjust this absorbance to 0. Now this is the first dilution. Okay, which has 0.01, 0.01, sorry, 0.14. Now we have performed the experiment on UV, that is by using the principle of UV visible spectroscopy, that is colorimetry. By using colorimetry we have performed the selection of lambda max, means selection of filter and identification of lambda max. These are the results that we have discussed during the practical also. Okay, these are the experimental results of selection of lambda max and identification of lambda max for KMnO4. Okay, based upon absorbance. Okay, it is found that these are the wavelengths or filters on which we have scanned the absorbance of KMnO4, different concentration of KMnO4. Now at 420 nanometer the KMnO4 shows the maximum absorbance, that is 070. 070 is absorbance at 420 nanometer, and this 070 absorbance is maximum, okay, amongst all dilutions. Okay, now, or amongst all series. Now this is the percent transmittance. We have also performed the experiment based upon percent transmittance. We found that at nanometer 420 it shows only 21% transmittance, means maximum absorbance. Okay, 21% transmittance means 79% absorbance. Okay, 21% transmittance means 79% absorbance. Based upon the both absorbance and percent transmittance, we have identified that the lambda max for KMnO4 is 420 nanometer, because at 420 nanometer it shows the maximum absorbance, and at 420 nanometer it shows the minimum percent transmittance. Okay, this is a lambda max or selection of filter for KMnO4. These are the results for selection of filter and identification of lambda max for K2CR2O7. Okay, these are the different wavelengths and filters that we have utilized. These are the series of absorbance shown by the K2CR2O7, and this is a percent transmittance shown by the K2CR2O7. Among these absorbance, the series of absorbance for different filters, we have found that it shows the maximum absorbance at 700 nanometer, that is 0.16. 0.16 is a absorbance at 700 nanometer. Okay, similarly at 700 nanometer it shows the 69% transmittance. Okay, this is a lambda max based upon both, that is absorbance and percent transmittance. Now these are the results. Now the selected filter for K2CR2O7 solution having the lambda max 700 nanometer. Okay, and the selected filter for KMnO4 solution having lambda max 420 nanometer. These results are both for 0.01 normal KMnO4 solution as well as 0.01 normal K2CR2 solution for solution. Now these are the tables for experimental part of verification of Beer's law for KMnO4 and K2CR2O7 first. Secondly, these are the tables for experiment we have performed for identification of unknown concentration of given K2CR2O7 and KMnO4 solution. Okay, now this is a serial number. These are the various series of dilutions that we have performed, on the basis of which we have performed the experiment. These are the series of dilution on the basis of we have performed the experiment for verification of Beer's law and identification of concentration of unknown solution. Okay, first solution 9 ml of KMnO4 and 1 ml of water, then 8 ml of KMnO4 2 ml water, 7 ml KMnO4 3 ml water, 6 ml KMnO4 4 ml water, 5 ml KMnO4 5 ml water. These are the series of dilutions. Now we have taken the absorbance for these series of dilutions, and we have found that these are the absorbance for each respective dilute solution or dilutions, means the solution of 9 ml of KMnO4 1 ml water makes it 0.009 normal solution. This is a concentration 0.099 normal solution. 8 ml of KMnO4 2 ml of water makes it 0.008 normal solution. Okay, these are the absorbance for this concentration of solution, means 0.83 is the absorbance for 0.009 normal solution. Okay, now this 0.49 is the absorbance for 0.005 normal solution. Okay, 0.10 is the absorbance of 0.001 normal solution. Okay, and we have also taken the absorbance of unknown concentration of KMnO4 solution, and we have found that the absorbance of unknown concentration was found to be 0.47. This is the absorbance of unknown concentration. Okay, by extrapolating it into the graph, we found that the concentration of unknown concentration of KMnO4 was 0.0048 normal is the concentration of unknown solution. Okay, similarly these are the tables for experimental part for verification of Beer's law and identification of unknown concentration of KMnO4 solution. Okay, these are the series of dilutions which makes this concentration of K2Cr2 7 solution. Okay, now these are the absorbance with respective concentration. 0.79 is absorbance for 0.009 normal solution. Okay, 0.45 is absorbance for 0.005 normal solution. Okay, and 0.13 is absorbance for 0.001 normal solution of K2Cr2O7. Okay, as a concentration increases, absorbance increases. Okay, as a concentration decreases, absorbance decreases. Okay, and we have taken the absorbance of unknown concentration of K2Cr27, and we have found that the absorbance of unknown concentration of K2Cr27 was found to be 0.40. Okay, based upon the graph, okay, we have found that by extrapolating the absorbance point on the graph, we found that the unknown concentration of K2Cr27 was 0.0043 normal solution. Okay, this is a concentration of unknown solution. This is also one of the table that we have performed the experiment, that verification of Beer's law of K manifold, the initial experiment that we have performed. The series of dilute solution, okay, that makes the absorbance like 0.65, 0.58, like these are the series of absorbance. Okay, that practical we have performed initially. Now this is a graph. Okay, that aim of the graph is determination of unknown concentration of K manifold solution by using lambda max 420 nanometer. Okay, by using this table, we have performed, or we have prepared this graph, and based upon this graph we have identified the unknown concentration of K manifold solution. Okay, see here, this is absorbance, this is x-axis, that is absorbance, sorry, this is x-axis, this is a concentration in normality, this is a x-axis. Okay, concentration in normality, that is 0.001, 0.002, 0.003, 004, 005, 06 till 0.01 normal solution. This is a x-axis concentration in normality. Okay, that from table. Okay, now this y-axis is the absorbance, and scale for this y-axis is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 1 and 1.1. This is a scale for absorbance. Y-axis is a absorbance. Okay, now the graph plotted here based upon the absorbance, that is 0.01 normal solution has absorbance of 0.1, that is, this is a point. Okay, similarly the 0.002 normal solution has absorbance of 0.2 normal solution. Okay, now 0.003 normal solution has absorbance of 0.32, that is 0.32. Okay, similarly we have plotted the points over here. Okay, for this concentration of solution for 0.009 normal solution, it is found to be 0.8 absorbance. Okay, for 0.009 normal solution, it is 8.3, 0.83 is the absorbance. Okay, we have plotted the point. Okay, we have joined the line linearity. Okay, the line passing through origin, means 0. We have plotted the linear line passing through origin. Okay, or by taking all of the point, this is a linear point passing through origin. This is the ideal condition for Beer's law, means Beer's law is obeyed up to 0.01 normal solution. Okay, these are the absorbance of series of dilutions prepared by the 0.01 normal solutions. Okay, now these are the normal solutions, means it obeys the law up to 0.009 normal solution or up to 0.01 normal solution. Okay, now we have taken the absorbance of unknown concentration, it is found to be 0.47. We have plotted here, this is a point, that is absorbance 0.47. This is a absorbance point, 0.47 is the absorbance of unknown concentration. We have identified this point. By extrapolating this point onto the scale of concentration, we have found that the unknown concentration was 0.004 normal solution, 0.004 normal solution. And by taking this graph, we found that the Beer's law will obey the concentration up to 0.01 normal solution. After or beyond that solution, it will deviate from linearity. Hence, this is a plot that represents the linear behavior that passing through origin. Passing through origin means 0. This is a absorbance of unknown concentration. Okay, we have marked absorbance by extrapolating it on scale of concentration. We have found that the 0.0048 is a normal solution, is a concentration of unknown solution. X-axis is for concentration, y-axis for absorbance. Now similarly, we want to determine the determination of unknown concentration of K2Cr2O solution by using lambda max 700 nanometer. This lambda max that we have determined previously. Okay, now this is a graph for this experimental table that we have performed. Okay, means these are the series of dilute solution, or these are the series of concentration from 0.001 normal solution to 0.009 normal solution. Okay, that we have plotted on x-axis. These are the concentration in normality that we have plotted on x-axis. Okay, this is a y-axis. On y-axis we have plotted the absorbance, okay, with the scale of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, okay, then 0.9, 1, 1.1 scale. Okay, these are the concentration on x-axis, okay, in normality, and this is absorbance. Now we have plotted the graph of concentration versus absorbance. The concentration was, we have known the standard that we have plotted here over here. This is a standard and known concentration that we have prepared based upon series of dilution. Based upon this dilution, these are the concentration that we have plotted on x-axis. Okay, now these are the absorbance. Now based upon the absorbance, we have got the different absorbance based upon the concentration. Okay, for example, 0.01 normal solution has absorbance of 0.13. Similarly, 0.002 normal solution has absorbance of 0.23. Okay, 0.004 normal solution has absorbance of 0.39. We have plotted here, that is 0.13 is absorbance for 0.001 normal solution, and 0.23 is the absorbance. This point is the absorbance for 0.002 normal solution. Okay, 0.31 is the absorbance. This is absorbance for 0.003 normal solution. Okay, we have plotted the points and we have joined the points as a linear scale. Okay, the line passing through origin, this is linear line. Okay, by intersecting all the points, by joining and intersecting all the points, we have plotted the linear line intersecting and pointing all the points of absorbance. Okay, this is a linear line. This line shows that this K2Cr2 solution obey the Beer's law up to 0.01 normal solution. Okay, we have taken here up to 0.009, but if we plot it further, then it will deviate, means it will obey the Beer's law up to 0.01 normal solution. Okay, this is a graph. Now similarly, we have identified the absorbance of unknown concentration, and the absorbance of unknown concentration was found to be 0.40. Okay, we have plotted here. This is a point of absorbance. This is a point of absorbance for unknown concentration. It is 0.4 is absorbance for unknown sample. Now, extrapolating this point on the scale of concentration, we have found that the unknown concentration of K2Cr2 solution was 0.0043. 0.0043 is a concentration of unknown solution. Okay, and 0.4 is a absorbance that we have got, okay, from colorimeter. Okay, this is a point. Okay, this is absorbance point, and extrapolating it on the concentration scale, we have got the 0.04 normal is the concentration of unknown solution. X-axis concentration in normality, y-axis is absorbance. Now, these are the results, okay, for KMnO4 and K2Cr2 It is observed that KMnO4 solution obey Beer's law up to 0.01 normal solution. Similarly, we have identified the concentration of unknown solution of KMnO4 was, okay, KMnO4 solution from graph was found to be 0.0048 normal. 0.0048 normal is a concentration of unknown solution from graph. Okay, now it is observed for KMnO4, the result was, it is observed that the K2Cr2 solution obey Beer's law up to 0.01 normal solution. Okay, and the concentration of unknown solution from graph, it was found to be 0.0043 normal for K2Cr2O7 solution.